because it can be hard to remember not to judge ourselves. And especially when we're doing something that should be fun, like yoga, I wanted to put together a quick 10-minute target that will move us through a crescent A pose, which is a challenging pose to not wobble and fall in, so that we can wobble, so that we can fall, and so that we can work on not necessarily what we're doing physically, but what we're doing mentally. Every time you wobble and every time you fall, I want you to purposely not judge yourself. This is a judgment-free zone. Now let's get started. Let's begin in a wide-kneed child's pose. So open your knees up wide, bring your big toes together in the back, sink your hips to heels, and just rest your head on the mat. And just take 1 or 2 breaths here, letting your low back open up, letting your hips open. One more big breath. And on your next inhale, roll forward. Now walk your knees behind your hips a little bit. Reach your arms forward. Start to lower your chest down to the mat for puppy pose. Opening up your upper back quite a bit, your underarms. So nice. Now rest your head on the mat or your chin as you look forward. Now press yourself back up to tabletop position. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. And let's move through some cat-cow. So on an inhale breath, lower your belly down, lift your tailbone up and gently look up. On an exhale breath, round your spine, bring your chin to your chest and tuck your tailbone. And just keep moving through that on your own. Every inhale drops your belly. Every exhale rounds your spine. And then meet me in a neutral spine when you're ready. And now step your right foot forward. Leave your left knee on the mat. Modified crescent B. Just bring your hands to your knees. Now square your hips off to the front of the mat by pulling your right hip back a little bit, pressing your left hip forward. Keep your knee over your ankle. Make sure your step is long enough that you can feel the stretch in the front of the left hip. So nice. Just opening up. And on an exhale breath, straighten that front leg and fold. Make sure your toes are flexed. You're on your heel, your hips are high. And then just relax the crown of the head down. One more big breath. And now come back into your modified crescent B. And let's take a low lunge twist. So left hand plants down on the mat, right hand reaches up, and you feel a nice twisting, a nice back release here. Mine's just cracking and popping. Feels so good. And come back up, modified crescent B. And now let's step that right foot back, tabletop position. Let's do that same thing on the other side. Step the left foot forward. Keep your hips squared off. Pull the left hip back a little bit. Press the right hip forward. Nice long step so you can feel the stretch in the front of the right hip. One more big breath. On an exhale, straighten your front leg and fold. Make sure your toes are flexed, your hips are high. Drop the crown of the head down. Come back into your modified crescent B, rebend the front knee. Low lunge twist, right hand plants, left hand reaches up. Feel that release in your back. Come back up to your modified crescent B. And now swing it back, tabletop position. Open your knees up wide, sink your hips to heels, child's pose. And now tuck your toes, lift your hips, make a downward facing dog. A deep V shape with your body. You're pushing into your hands. Maybe you're bending one knee and then the other. Just moving your chest closer to your thighs. On an inhale breath, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step between your hands. Stay high on your back toes. Inhale up, crescent A. Deep bend in the front knee. Scooch down a little bit. Pull your thighs together. That should lift your seat up a little bit. One more moment. And then exhale, plant your hands. Step it back. Bend your elbows and lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, breath, straighten your arms, upward face. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifts the left leg. Exhales the step. Inhale up, crescent A. Scooch down, deep bend, roll onto your back toes. And exhale, vinyasa. Plant your hands, lower down. Inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward face. Let's move through that one more time on our own, following our own breath. Here we go. And now just bend your knees. Child's pose. One more big breath in child's pose. And now roll forward, tabletop position. Just sit down on your bottom, swing your legs around. Move the meat, flex the feet. Inhale your arms up. And on an exhale, fold. Try to keep a flat back for as long as you can, really letting the hamstrings open up. And once you get as far as you can get, round and release. Head hangs heavy here. Feel the low back really getting a nice stretch. One more moment. And inhale, come back up to a seat. On an exhale breath, slowly lower onto your back. Moving so slow, one vertebrae at a time. And once you get there, pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And on an exhale breath, let's take easy spinal twist to the left. Lower both knees to the left. Keep your right shoulder glued to the mat. Turn your head away from your knees. And on an inhale, pull your knees back into your chest. And on an exhale, easy spinal twist to the right. Keep your left shoulder glued to the mat. Turn your head away from your knees. And inhale, bring your knees back into your chest. One more hug, one more rock. On an exhale, just straighten your legs underneath you. Let your feet flop open. Let's take a little Shavasana. Once you get there, 3 deep breaths. Stay in Shavasana for as long as feels good. 10 minutes is not too short of a time. You still worked hard in your body, in your mind, and in your heart. Good job not judging yourself and keeping this a judgment-free zone. Now, create that same judgment-free zone in your mind, and I'll see you soon.